There's nothing more frustrating than bad Wi-Fi, especially when it's in your own home. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about my Wi-Fi setup, which is now using the Google Nest Wi-Fi, both a router and the access point. So if you're looking at upgrading to that, maybe you're having issues with your current Wi-Fi in your house, you're looking for a better solution, or maybe you're just looking to upgrade it to it anyways and kind of want to know some of the features, benefits of it. This is the video for you, so stick around. All right. So the issue I had with my Wi-Fi and the reason I was looking for an upgrade was I was constantly dealing with bad signal, just bad connectivity in parts of my home. And so what I had done before is looked into using access points, things like that, to try to, get more signal to other parts of my home where the Wi-Fi wasn't great. It was actually to the point where sometimes you'd have to turn off Wi-Fi on the phone to use the phone cellular network, things like that. So I really wanted a solution that was going to give me that whole home Wi-Fi, but it wasn't going to be expensive and it wasn't going to be difficult. I'm a very technical guy. I could set up custom access points, things like that, but I really just didn't want to worry about it. And so working with some of the Google products, I was hoping the Google Wi-Fi was that. And if you want the quick answer now, I would say yes, the Google Nest Wi-Fi is a very easy, powerful setup that you can use. So this is what they look like. This is right off Google's website here. I'll put the link down in the description for you. This is the Nest Wi-Fi. The device here on the right that you see is the Nest router itself, and then these devices on the left are the Nest hotspots or access points. I think they just call them Nest points. What's nice about the Nest points as well is they actually double as a smart Google speaker. So if you have or you want to have Google smart speakers in your home, you can actually use these. So if you already have one, you can just get rid of it and put this in its place, and you get Wi-Fi and the smart speaker. I'd say it's a little lower quality than the small little Google speakers, but it's not bad. It can definitely work for that. So this is the setup of those here. We'll jump over to another tab here just to show you. It uses a mesh network setup. So you have your router, which plugs in. I'll show you this in just a second. It plugs in to your modem, so you still need your modem from your internet provider, whoever that is, and then you just run your Ethernet cable from your modem into the back of your router, and then you're going to get this set up on your network. It really, truly does a great job at expanding the network through the house. The little fancy little graphics here on the Nest website. But what's nice about it is it's not just extending it is communicating using its own network. So the access points really work well. And so it's pretty easy to set up. You just install the app. I know that's cut off a little bit here. You just install the Google app. You plug in the router, and then you start setting up your Wi-Fi points. It's all done through the app. It's super easy. Again, when you're kind of setting this up using other hardware, you've got to download multiple apps. You've got to, believe me, this setup was extremely easy. The router automatically knows how to find its own access points. You just plug in these things, and I only needed one. I put one out in my garage, and that gave me strong signal here in the house and all the way out into the garage, even into the backyard. And you don't have those weird conflicts. Every time I would use Wi-Fi access points, sometimes I'd get weird conflicts, or if I was like in between the router and the access point, sometimes I would get just some weird, like it would jump between the networks, just weird issues. So I actually went to the point where I just used my router and just dealt with it. This has been seamless for the last 6 months. I set it up and I have not had to do anything with it since. Before I walk around, I'll actually show you my setup here, how I have it connected. This is the app. So you set up the app on your phone in the Google Home app. So if you have cameras or anything like that, you probably already have the Google Home app installed, and you literally are just going to hit add, or it may actually detect this thing as soon as you plug it in, and you just start the setup. It's going to be an extremely easy setup, I promise you. So you just do it on the app, and then once you're in the app, it creates a little box that is called Wi-Fi. So you actually get like a new little icon on your phone called Wi-Fi. This is on the Google Home app, and when you open that up, you're going to get some nice little connections. So it's going to automatically do a speed test for you, so you can constantly know what your speed tests are. It gives you a history of that, so I think every day it runs a speed test, which is great if you're trying to keep up with stuff like that or see if your internet provider is fluctuating. It's going to give you that automatic speed testing. It's going to give you a list of all the devices in your home, so you can quickly browse any of the devices. You can do some configurations, remove them, things like that. You can also set up family Wi-Fi. You can also set up a guest network. So a lot of like controls, so you can like turn off, control things on the Wi-Fi, set up a guest network, all of that done right in the app, and it's all super easy and straightforward. There are also then some additional settings, so if you're like me, you want also some additional access. So there is a little settings button up at the top, and when we jump into that, you're going to get some more of the advanced settings. So if this is something you may be curious about, you can kind of see hopefully right there. I know that's probably kind of hard. Here, let me actually bring this back to full screen for you. There you go. So hopefully you can read that. You can see some of the more advanced options there. So you can do that family Wi-Fi, the guest network that I was talking about. There's W3A security, or WA3 security. I have not played around with that yet, but it is supported. You can do preferred activities, so it's like set priority for like gaming, things like that. Privacy, notifications, advanced networking. You can also do a reset of the restart of the network right from the app if you're having any issues. Do not believe I've ever had to restart it. Maybe once, if that. Here's in the advanced settings, so you do get port management, DNS settings, things like that. So if that's something you need, for example, I do need port forwarding, port management for some of the things that I do. So I need to be able to open the ports, and it's super nice because you basically go into port management, you search for the device that you want. So you just pick the device. It doesn't matter if it's a dynamic IP. You just pick the device that you want, and then you pick what port you want opened, and it will automatically keep that port opened for that device, so you don't have to go into a complex, IP, subnet, port screen. It's actually very easy to use, and even if you are very technical, I'm all about saving some time and some headache and just having it be an easy process. So that's that here. Just real quick before we go in and actually look at my setup, I'll show you the cost here. Well, let's just jump into the buy screen. So here you have the Wi-Fi router over on the left. I know it's cutting that off, but it's $170 for just the Wi-Fi router. Wi-Fi router and access point, which would be my recommendation. If you're going to do this setup, you should probably get one of the access points, because if you don't need an access point, you're probably fine with the internet you have. So $270, that's what I went with. Gives you that router and the second access point, or the first access point that you can put somewhere else in your house. That was enough for me. If you've got, I have about a 1,300 square foot home, and that also gets me some Wi-Fi into the backyard near the pool, which is super nice when you're outside. If you got a little bit bigger home, I would just go ahead, no brainer, jump to the router with 2 access points, so you can have the router as the hub, and then spread out those other 2 access points. Again, it's going to be super easy to set up. Google's app, the access points themselves are going to handle all the connectivity. That's going to be super easy, and you can add an additional point if you need it. But you can see here you get a pretty good discount if you order the 2 with it. So if you think you're going to need 2, go ahead and just do that from the start. It's a little more expensive. It is an expensive setup. But like I said, I've had no headaches for 6 months now. I really like the app. I think it's really fast. I have no connectivity issues. I mean, you do cryptocurrency mining as well, and they are connected through the access point to the router. All right, I know that's probably like the worst way to set up crypto mining, but it's been stable. It seems to work really, really well. So enough of that. Let me switch over to my phone, and I'll show you how these are actually set up in my house. Okay, here we are with the Nest router itself. So this is my modem from Spectrum, and then this is the actual router itself. So just like you have your modem that has your cable coming in, your cable from the wall, Comes in your modem power. That's pretty standard. Your internet provider is going to be setting this up for you. But then you're going to have a cable, your Ethernet cable that comes out of the back of your modem. That's probably currently plugged into whatever your current router is. And then that comes into the back of the Google. So that plugs into the back here of the Google router. The other plug is for power. And then the other plug there, the third plug, is actually not currently being used, but it does have one pass-through connection. So if you did want to plug in a switch or another router, or again, you have a more technical setup, you do get this one Ethernet out that you can use to extend your network beyond the Google network itself. So that is the Google router. This is set up in my office back here. This is actually kind of the corner of my house. That's the far corner, which is why this has always struggled to get signal to the other side of my house. So let's go look at that. Okay, so now we are actually out in my garage. This is the Google access point. So this is just plugged into the wall. Actually, I'll link this down below too. You can get these off Amazon. Nice little wall mount. So if you have like a power outlet and you just need to sit something on top of it, this is a great way to be able to put a smart speaker or an access point anywhere in your house that you have a power outlet, and it makes for a really clean installation because there's no wires hanging or anything like that. So I'll be sure to link this in the video description below if you want to pick up one or several of these. But this is the access point. Again, this is all configured through the app, so all you have to do is plug this thing in, go into the app, and it's going to connect it over to that router. This is currently positioned through 2 walls. So this is 2 rooms over on the far side of my house in the garage. This has no problem connecting to the router. What's super nice is the Google app is actually going to tell you if it can communicate to the access point properly, which was super nice. You're not guessing. It's not like a vague indicator. The app's going to tell you, yes, you've got perfect signal connection to the router, meaning it can get the full speed or pretty close to the full speed through this access point. Just makes for the setup super easy. So that is the access point here. And again, this is out in the garage, so this gets basically internet to the second half of my house. Again, it's been bulletproof, super fast, no issues at all. And this also then is able to get into the backyard as well through the exterior wall, and get internet access into the backyard, so you can use Wi-Fi in your backyard as well. So there you have it. That is my Google Nest setup. I would highly recommend. It is a little more expensive, so obviously, you got to take that into account. But if you're looking for a fast, easy, seamless solution, I think the Google Nest setup works pretty well for Wi-Fi in your house. Thanks guys for watching. See you all in the next video.